Hey, so the last part of Love is Blind, season 9, episode 12 is Jordan and Sparkle Megan. So, of course, Sparkle Megan said that she did not want to get to the altar with Jordan and tell him no. So, they met up in their apartment and she kind of explained that she can't do this. She was like, she started out by saying, like, we're different people. And, Jordan, being a smartass, was like, yeah, we are different people, Megan. And she's like, no, but like, we just have different goals in life and we are going about them differently. And he was like, well, yeah, like, we're two different people. And she just was, I think she was kind of getting frustrated to be like, yes, we're different people, Jordan. Yes, physically, we are different people. But I am talking about in our relationship together. She was like, it feels like we're, what did she say? Sailing ships by night or something like that. They don't see each other because, again, he has a child. His normal day to day is very structured, I think, and I think hers is not. It seems like she doesn't work, and obviously he works and probably is on a schedule with visitation with Luca and the mom and stuff like that. And she was just like, I want to be able to travel and want to be able to go here and do this with my partner, and you can't do that. And he was like, well, yeah, like, I told you all this in the pods. I told you how structured out my life was. I told you how, you know, I had to be here for Luca. I told you all this. And he's like, well, why did you even pick me? And she was just kind of like, oh, yeah. Well, she's like, she leaned into the whole thing about feelings and not picking her traditional guy and that type of thing. But like I said, with her, she should have picked Mike because that is what she wants, right? She wants a person that can take their time. She wants a person that can, like, go with her midday to another state. Jordan can't do that. He works a job and it's, like, he just can't. Um, Also, she mentioned the lifestyles being different as far as like her working her butt off to kind of like now sit on her butt at home, and Jordan has just kind of started out on that journey just because he's younger, right? And so Andy has a kid to support, so his chill is obviously different than her chill. I do think that, and you hate to bring it up because you want people to be together because they genuinely want to and they genuinely have that feeling, but sometimes lifestyle differences can make a relationship harder. So, for instance, as we know, Jordan was living in a one bedroom apartment, even though it's him and Luca. And yes, it's Luca part of the time. Luca had the bedroom, he stayed on the couch. To me, that was a red flag, just for me, because I he should have had a two-bedroom apartment, but guess what? That's not what he could afford at the time, and totally understandable. You just might not be my person, right? And I think people have to like face that and like not settle if that's not what you want and that's not what you see, right? And then you have Megan. She's looking at, Denver is an expensive place, as we all know, but she's looking at houses that cost 1.5 million to $2 million. Obviously, they're not living in the same lifestyle here before they were together. And I'm not saying that, your husband has to be equally yoked and he's going to be looking at $1 million houses. That's not what I'm saying. But like, he, I think, knew that was going to be an issue in their relationship, but he was going to work through it. And I think Megan didn't want to work through that, didn't want to like explain, didn't want to deal with that. And then I think, like Jordan said in one of the other episodes, that he would feel like he's mooching off of her, even though he's not. He's working. He would be putting in his share of whatever. It just probably wouldn't necessarily be fair. And again, not saying that everything has to be equal or that the man has to take care of the woman. I'm not saying that. But I think in this situation, the gap was just so big that it just was not going to work unless Megan was willing to maybe downgrade some of her expectations and some of her wants in life at this time. I again wish Megan well. I wish Jordan well. At the end, Jordan said that like he regretted introducing Megan to his son. I understand what he's saying, especially coming from a single parent. And if I'm ever in that situation, I will have to like make that decision on when it is a good time to introduce a possible significant other to my daughter. But you know, you can't, and I say this from my point of being divorced, is like you have to go into a relationship expecting it and hoping that it turns out the way that you want and like working towards that. But like you can't go in with all these reservations, because if not, you're never going to be in a relationship and you're never going to take that leap of faith. You do have to trust that other person. And if you are still need some healing to do from a previous relationship, do that healing before you get into another relationship, because it is just going to hurt your current situation. But back to Jordan and Megan. I just think, first of all, there was an age discrepancy there. I think like Jordan is more playful and stuff and Megan is more serious. And I know that she says she leaned into that and she enjoyed that about him. But sometimes that's just not the person. That's like a friend, right? Like a good friend versus like a relationship, right? So anywho, let me know what your thoughts are. I want to know from all different kinds of perspectives. Again, my perspective is from, I'm a divorced single parent. And so that is where, you know, all of my experience comes from. And so it might be a little skewed or whatever the case may be, but I am happy that like Megan made that decision now. Again, all of these couples did not get married, which is what I predicted closer to the end. But I think they all would have been miserable if they would have stayed in their relationship that they, you know, that they had on Love is Blind. So I think they're all better for it. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to have a watch party. So come and watch the finale with me, the reunion for Love is Blind. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to have some bombshells. I think it's going to have some juicy tea. So come and bring your gold glass and come watch the reunion with me. It comes on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you. Bye-bye.